Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is an Amazon review. What you are about to see is a review of a product that I have put in my Amazon storefront. That storefront is, again, in the description of this video. So, this is a Japanese gardening knife. It is a Hori Hori, or Hori Hori, as I say it. I've heard it pronounced both ways. The farther I can get away from Hori Hori, the better. So I say I, which is how a lot of things in Japanese, when transferred over to English, sound. So what you have here is basically a very small, what I would term, entrenching tool. All right. It is full tang, as you can see there. In Europe, these are also called, they're slightly different, but they are bulb knives, like bulbs, like planting bulbs. And the reason for that is they have measurements on the inner curve of the knife. Most bulbs usually come with some sort of instructions about how many inches down they're supposed to be. And usually it's somewhere between 4 to 6. This goes up to 6. The blade itself is somewhere between 7 because it does go to the tang a little bit before the handle. The handle is some sort of hardwood. It almost looks like rosewood, but I'm not sure if it actually is or if they have used some sort of dye. But it is a nice handle. It seems very plain Jane, like not much there, not much of a grip. It actually has a surprising grip. So, like, surprisingly good grip, that is, sorry. So let me go over what comes with this. Now, this particular one I bought. So the packaging you're going to see, I bought in May of last year, May of 2020. This is the second one I have had. Not that anything really happened to the first one. What happened to the first one was the sheath it came with failed, and I could not, mind you, it failed after 3.5 years of heavy field use. It failed, and I could not find something suitable to replace it. So I just ended up buying another one. So my first one, although it's a little mucked up on the handle, is still usable. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I got 2 of them now in one sheath. But at the time when I bought the second one, it was only retailing at $20. So it's like one of those deals like, yeah, I could go out of my way and really search for a sheath that would fit this really nice, da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, I realized that that sheath would probably cost more than $20. So it was like, I'll just buy another whole set. So at the time, it came packaged like this. All right, elongated box. It's coming from Amazon. It's retailing now at $23.99. Now, as I said, I do have this in my storefront. The link is in the description of this video. If you go to the storefront, there's going to be a number of different sections. Okay, I got like clothing, and then I have workwear, gear. This is in the section gear. It's $23.99. It has free shipping if you spend $25. And this is the thing. This is where issues with me personally start with Amazon. Because if you don't think that's done on purpose, oh, it's $24. You get free shipping if you spend $25. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. So it comes in this. When you get it, it comes in It comes in its sheath, and the whole thing is in a plastic bag. I'm going to show you, by the way, the exact problem with the sheath. So, there's two problems with the sheath after extremely heavy use. One of them is basically, in hindsight, I have realized, avoidable. So, it comes in that. The knife is inside that plastic wrap with the sheath. And it does come with a sharpening stone, which is absolute garbage. The first one I bought did not come with this. This came with the second one. I mean, to tell you the truth, I use it to rub my thumb and finger where I pinch to get like any staining off. That's about all I use this for, really. What I do use to sharpen this is, and guys are probably that have looked at that gear section have seen this in it, and they're like, man, he uses that for his... Now, I only have this in the gear section, and there's a lot of this through the storefront that I really need to explain at some point. Knife guys will tell you this is not what you want to use to sharpen your knives. I am not really a knife guy, but even I know this is not what you want to use to sharpen your knives. This is only in the gear section because I use it to sharpen this. And it's basically the size of this right here. How thin it gets at the top is perfect for the serrated edge. And that is really the only reason why this is in there. As for the sharpeners on this, it does have a coarse and fine. There's a problem sharpening this knife, and that is the curvature of it, if you can see. It curves like this, and it also curves like that at the front, which I'm not quite sure if that part's really showing. It's a problem. Basically, you have to use a diamond pick to sharpen even the flat side. But this one fits perfectly for the smaller cuts in the serrated edge. The serrated edge is probably the side I use the most with this. When I am in my work season, this is the only tool I now carry on my person at all times. I used to carry this, or the first one I had of this, and a pocket knife. Every once in a while, there would be something else, like pruners or whatnot. This is the only thing I carry now, all right? It does have some weight to it, but it goes in there on a belt. It's not enough weight to cause issues with your belt or, you know, your pants pulling on one side, anything like that. So, I'm going to read the back of this box. Now, I basically have this memorized at this point for this video, but really, there's not much me picking my brain trying to think of the words and whatnot when they basically have it perfectly on the back of this. Everything that's on the back of this, I can't pick one thing that's not right or off. So I'm just going to read it. So, Black Iron Tools, Japanese Hori Hori gardening knife. Stainless steel Hori Hori for gardening. Sharp and concave for cutting and digging. And that is why it is concave, and it does work rather well on that. Multi-purpose Japanese gardening knife. Comes with thick leather sheath, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or your money back. I believe even through the Amazon, although you have to go third party through Black Iron, I believe that promotion is good, and they promote it there on the Amazon page. The Black Iron Japanese gardening knife is a heavy-duty multi-purpose gardening tool. It is extra sharp for easy and convenient cutting of roots and plants. Its concave structure is designed for digging and scooping soil. This versatile tool can also be used as a camping and hunting knife. Not so sure about the hunting part there, but I could see it in a camping scenario. This Hori Hori knife has a sturdy wooden handle made from hardwood and comes with extra thick, highly durable leather sheath. and a sharpening stone that I've already mentioned is, yeah, don't get too excited about this aspect. The black iron gardening knife won't disappoint any gardener. And that is true. I don't see any gardener getting one of these that would be disappointed. And in a camping scenario, it's probably good. Hunting, I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that. So I don't want to say, no, can't be used in a hunting scenario. Look, it comes not super, super sharp. I particularly make mine very sharp. With bulbs or digging, the idea behind this is you stick to the depth you need, and then you go on the serrated side around. You know those circular hole diggers that you plunge and pull? You know what I'm talking about? Comes circle, they're usually made of like a heavy tin. They have a wooden handle, and you sort of go like that into the dirt, and then it pulls out the dirt. Okay, instead of the serrated edge of that plunger going down, you're going down with this, and you're cutting around and sort of popping out. It makes small, precise holes that way. It's serrated on the edge much better than any of those circular things I'm talking about, which I don't know the name of, but it cuts through roots. If you go serrated side first, it cuts through roots. It will dig a small, precise hole very, very quickly. But I use this for all kinds of stuff. I probably pull this. I was thinking about it before the video. I probably pull this close to a dozen times a day for whatever. From cutting string trimmer, weed whacker string, and I use fairly heavy stuff. My normal stuff is 95. Cuts through that, no problem. But I literally use this for just about it. You know what? I even cut grass with this. I'm not kidding. If I'm done a yard and I'm leaving and I see something like that's a miss, or the mower blew it down and it stood back up or something like that, and I don't feel like getting the weed whacker back out and primed and started up, I'll just pull this, and I do sort of a sheath, like a scythe scooping swing with the serrated edge, and it literally cuts grass. Like, not like hacked up and like, oh my God, I wish I just used the weed whacker. No, like clean cut grass, it goes flying. So this is something, even now I paid for this one last year about $20, but even at $24, it's worth it. My original one, the one before this, as I said, nothing wrong with it. Little mucked up. The handle's a little mucked up. It's probably got some dings in the wood. But besides that, this is probably one of the thing. Now, I haven't put anything in the storefront that I am not familiar with, and I think is a good value. All right? And if you've noticed, there's not stuff that's terribly expensive on there. There may be some out-of-print books in the book section that are a little bit elevated in price, but I really wanted to add them because I thought very highly of the book, but they're out of print, and that's what happens when stuff goes out of print. The price starts edging up. But I do look for, money for value, and this, out of all the things, is probably the best buy for the dollar amount on there. Okay, I cannot say enough about this thing. Now, the sheath has problems. There's two problems. What took my first one out of action was the belt loop went. I did fix it, but it just wasn't the same. It broke again, the fix. So that, after a while, will go. That's a problem. I mean, it's not totally unexpected, but that is a problem because the knife is made to a point where it's going to outlast its sheath every single time by a long time. So that's what took mine out. But the other problem that is avoidable is if you sharpen that serrated edge, pulling this out. Now the serrated edge is here. Pulling this out will cut or start cutting straight down the back here. It happened to my first one. It didn't take it out of action. I fixed it with some sort of like duct tape, but it's a little different. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but I wrapped it this way. It's easy to get around that. So I'm right-handed. I wear this on my belt on this side, right behind my side belt loop, okay? When I pop the button there and I pull, I grab sheath and take pressure off the serrated side when I pull out. And this one doesn't even have a mark inside the sheath. So I'm going and making sure I pull out so it's not slicing down. All right? And that really is the only problem with this thing. It's that part. And you know what? Somebody that has leatherworking skills at all, I do not, obviously, probably could make these for nothing. But this itself it's simplistic, it's ridiculously useful. As I said, weed whacker string, and I use pretty heavy stuff. Trimming grass, digging pretty precise small holes. Now, obviously, if you have to dig a trench for some reason, this is not what you want, but you know what I mean. I've used, now, mind you, I'm sharpening this thing up too. It gets a little silly, actually, because I have a habit of doing it when I'm bored or waiting for, like, rain to pass. So this thing gets ridiculously sharp. I use it as a saw sometimes. I'm not even kidding. You know, not thick stuff. But if there's, like, a little trim and I'm like, I'm not walking back for the hedge trimmer. If it's, like, that or smaller, I will literally saw through it with this. Like, in a sawing action. So, really, this thing... I don't even feel like I'm doing it justice with this review. I'm serious. Black Iron makes quality stuff all around. They used to be into cutlery for like kitchen use and whatnot. I really have not checked out their storefront. I do not know. There are a lot of these knives online, on Amazon actually. I chose this one at the time because I like the handle more. A lot of them will have a cross plate here, like a handguard protector. I don't know why. Like, is anybody out there sword fighting with these things? You shouldn't. If you ever enter into a sword duel, you do not want to use the sword with a 7-inch blade. That is my imparting of wisdom upon you. I'm kidding. Anyway, there's a lot of them. They usually have like a crossbar here. You know, this I like. It looks I like simplicity. And this, it's got clean lines. It's got a full tang. It's got no nonsense in the middle right here. There's no extra piece or anything. I've never had the handles fail. I can't really tell you exactly how they have them attached. The metal studs here seem to be like they've been flattened out a little bit. I've never even had one like this get loose or anything like that. And the first one I had in service with me for 3 or 4 seasons. And that's a lot of service in the way I run things between late March and basically mid-November. So this is Black Iron's Hori Hori gardening knife. It is in the Amazon storefront that I link in the descriptions. It is running at about $23.99. It's in the section named Gear. All right. It does look a little bit different now. The picture they are showing there, it does have the Japanese version of Black Iron in the metal. It actually sort of looks cool. But basically, besides that, it is the same the same product. It's completely the same as this. As you see here, it does have a lanyard. Now, the way I sharpen mine, I would not want this thing swinging around on me, but I guess maybe if it was something you hung in a shed, yeah, it's noteworthy, I suppose. Anyway, I hope I did an okay job at this. This is my first non-food or taboo T-word review. So hopefully I got all points across. And I do hope you are well. I do thank you for sticking with me here. I know this is not the usual content, and it's not the content that you came here for originally. But hopefully we will get that back on track in the next number of weeks. Do take care of yourselves, and as always, God bless.